Hello and welcome guys. So I'm here at the Audi event in Vorst, Brussels, where they are going to unveil the Audi e-tron. I'm looking forward to this because this could be a good car as long as this charging solution is there as well. But I'm here with an open mind. I'll just see what they present and what it looks like in real life, and hopefully I can get some good detailed images for you guys as well. So hope you enjoy it. So before we begin, I want to apologize that this is going to be with a voiceover instead of live commentary, because there were a lot of people around the car and a lot of loud music there as well, so it wasn't really possible for me to comment on the spot or take my time to do a few shots, because a lot of people were also trying to get in the car and see what it's like. So hope you don't mind, but here we go. The first thing I noticed is that this is clearly an Audi. So you clearly see the Audi Q series lines in the design. Although the wheels are a bit different and I don't particularly like this design, there probably be some options here you can choose from. Now first let me start with the price. So the base price will start around 82,000 euros. Now that is still an expensive car, but it puts it in the same league as the Jaguar I-Pace. However, this car seems to be a bit bigger than the I-Pace, but not quite as big as a Model X. Overall, I like the proportions of the car. Again, I'm not a fan of the SUV type, but looking at the proportions, I think it's not bad. And also in terms of price, well, 82,000 is the base price, right? And knowing Audi, if you add a few options, you will easily add 50% to that price. So this is a full spec model that you see here on the screen right now, and I assume, it has not been confirmed, I assume the end price for this one will be closer to 120,000. But it has all the funky options, like these crazy mirrors, which are actually cameras. And when I sat in the car and tried those cameras, I noticed that the screens are positioned just right. They're in the door. Where on a Tesla the door handle is basically, so that position. But on the other hand, with the lights, and I assume that will be with some sunlight as well, it was rather difficult to see the screen. So it's not a good sign if you can't see your mirrors basically. But yeah, it might have been an option where it was dimmed on the display or something, so I'm not making a point of it right now, just an observation. In terms of quality, it is also clearly Audi, right? So it is a lot better fit and finish than a Tesla is. It is at least on par with the Jaguar, but as soon as you close the door, you feel that the build quality is there. The leather is also really nice. What I don't really like about the car is that even with this level of fit and finish, there's still some soft touch plastics here. So I'd rather see some additional leather, like on the top of the door or the top of the dashboard, right? That also has some soft touch plastic that makes it feel a little bit cheaper. So yeah, if they put some leather on that, or maybe that's an option, I would definitely go for that if that's a possibility. Now, since we are talking about the interior, let me continue there first. Then you see that the legroom in the front is quite good, no problem there, but also in the back the legroom is pretty good. So I sat in the back myself, even though I'm a short guy, but I had like 20 centimeters between my knees and the seat in front of me. Also, the upper part of your legs is more supported, even though the battery is in the floor as well, just like with the Tesla. But with the Tesla, your knees are up high because you're sitting down low. Here the seats have been put a little bit higher apparently, and your legs are supported better, so that will be good for long distance driving. Now, one thing I found really odd was the sunroof or moonroof or whatever you want to call it. It is a moving part, or at least half of it is. So you can see the beam in the middle here, and then the front part slides over the back part to create a open roof or a sunroof. Now, the odd thing about it is that on the sides and on the front and the back, there's these huge still solid ceiling pillars, beams, whatever you want to call it, and the roof is actually quite small if you sit inside. It is a big one, but it feels quite small when you sit inside. And also, if you sit in the back seat, you are not sitting under the glass roof, you're actually sitting under the solid part of the roof, and that seemed a little bit odd. So when you look at the dashboard on the inside, you see that there's a digital instrument cluster in front of you, which is configurable. But also, just like with the Jaguar I-Pace, you have two screens in the middle, one at the top, one at the bottom. Of course, the car wasn't really turned on at that point, so we didn't have a lot of time or a lot of things we could fiddle with on those screens. So hopefully I'll be able to test that more thoroughly when I get my hands on the car for a longer test drive. And in the middle, in the center console, you do have a few pockets that you can store some stuff in, which is also good because that is something that we are lacking on a Tesla as well. Now, going to the back of the car, here you can see the trunk of the car, which has a flat loading floor with a few small side pockets on each side. If we open the bottom or the liner of the trunk, then we can clearly see there's another cubby hold beneath there, which is kind of okay. It does allow you to maybe store your charging cables there, or put some additional groceries at the bottom there. Now, if you move to the front of the car, then we do have a frunk available there, but as you can see here, it's it's not really worth much. You can get a small sized briefcase in there, and underneath that liner there's a tire repair kit with a pump and some glue to quickly resolve a tire problem, a small tire problem. But yeah, you're not going to get more in there than a briefcase and maybe a couple of apples and oranges, and that's it. That's unfortunately a missed opportunity for Audi, I think. Now, what is interesting is that it has electronically opening charge ports on both sides of the car. So this one is a Type 2. On the other side you have a CCS charger, so you can't use both of them at the same time, right? So you either use one side or you use the other side, but the car is equipped with two different charge ports. Now let me talk about the specifics of the car for a few moments. So we are talking about a 95 kilowatt hour battery, which has an 8-year 160,000 kilometers or 100,000 mile warranty on there. They recommend charging for daily use until 80% and 100% for trips, which is more or less in line with what Tesla does, only they recommend charging to 90%, but yeah, it's not required, of course, to follow that guideline. You can charge to whatever percentage you like and whatever suits your need, of course. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, so 0 to 62 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds, or with the boost mode, which is the equivalent of our ludicrous mode or insane mode. It goes down to 5.7 seconds. It will have 664 Newton meters of torque immediately available, of course, and they talk about NEDC numbers, 500 kilometers of range, which will become 400 kilometers in the new WLTP range. That's still an estimation and needs to be confirmed. But when they talk about 500 kilometers NEDC, that is basically the same as what my P85D had, which had 502 kilometers NEDC. Practically, I did 360 kilometers with that on highway speeds. So yeah, it will be somewhere within that range, 360 to 380 kilometers if all goes well and you have the right circumstances. It has an onboard charger that will allow charging for 11 kilowatts. When you have the single charger, there will be an optional dual charger which allows you to go up to 22 kilowatts. More than that is not yet known about the charging or the specific solutions that they provide, but it does work with Type 2 and a CCS charger. So I think in Europe that covers most of the charging options. And of course, you can always plug it in a regular socket at home. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to tell you that on the Ionity network, the car will be able to charge up to 150 kilowatts, which is more than what the current Tesla generation allows, but it's still not the full 350 kilowatts, 800 volts system that the Porsche will be able to do. So yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, we are in supercharger territory there, and that will allow you, once it's rolled out, that will allow you to drive long distances and go on vacation with this car. The length of the car is 4 meters and 90 centimeters. To compare, a Q5 is 4 meters and 66 centimeters, and the Q8 is 4.99 meters. So it's a big car, and it's almost as big as a Model X. The height is 1 meters and 63 centimeters. A Q5 is 166, so it's a little bit lower than that, and the Q8 is 171, so it's about 8 centimeters lower than that. So it is a more sporty line than the other Q series that we have now. Loading capacity, they are talking about 600 liters in the back, 60 liters in the front. To be honest, if you see the frunk, I have no idea where they are going to put those 60 liters, because that is not even close to 60 liters. I assume that they are counting the part underneath that front floor that is filled up with the tire repair kit. And if you count that, maybe they will come to 60 liters, yes. Now if we look at the specs that are available, it is a 5-seater. It has the Quattro 4-wheel drive system. They will provide adaptive air suspension. They will also have 19-inch wheels. The wheels that were on this car were actually quite a bit bigger. They were 20-inch wheels, if I remember correctly, and you see it here on the screen as well. They are 265 45s. So those are quite wide tires. So the 265 is the same as what we have on the back of the Performance Model S. But those are 265/35s, these are 45s, so the tire height is still a little bit bigger on this one. What else do we have on the options? So it will have the Audi Virtual Cockpit, which is the digital instrument cluster. It will have an Audi sound system, which hopefully is a lot better than the premium sound system on Teslas, because I don't think that was worth, now it's included, but I don't think that was worth the price they were asking for. You will have LED headlights, the glass roof, of course the sunroof. You can order it with just cloth seats, or you can order it with leather seats. I saw a few other models there, an orange and a white one, and I believe the orange one had cloth seats, and it was really weird to see that in such a expensive car. It will have lane assist, something that's called Presense Front, which is probably something like adaptive cruise control and emergency braking. It will have seats that massage you, that I could use on my long drives. A heads-up display, which I already showed you, and then also a 360-degree top view camera, an optional B&O premium sound system, and yeah, as I mentioned, the optional 22 kilowatts dual charger option. And lastly, it will also have optionally the camera rear view mirrors, which will only be available on European markets because it's not allowed anywhere else for the moment. So maybe they will offer that in the US at a later point in time, but for now it's not allowed yet. Now I do want to close off with a few remarks regarding the battery. So here you see a cutaway for the battery, and we have a 95 kilowatt hour battery, which comprises out of 36 pouch cells, or modules with pouch cells. We know that they've been made by LG Chem, and this is what a pouch cell looks like, and you can find that in a drone, for example, or even your smartphone battery. That's more or less this composition, and they have several pouches of these within such a module, so 36 modules in total. And in the far back of this image you can also see the dual chargers. So those orange things, those connect to a charger on each side. So the left side, so basically that part is on the front of the car, and on the left side that will be connected to the CCS charger, and on the right side that will be connected to the Type 2 charge port. The battery is also cooled by the battery management system and heated to keep the battery at an optimal temperature, kind of like the system what Tesla does. So yeah, that should give us optimal usage of the available kilowatt hours within the battery. Alright, so that's the end of the evening for me. Now we're waiting on a few little golf carts to take us back to the parking. What do I think of the Audi e-tron? I think it's an interesting car, but again, just like the I-Pace, it lacks the charging network at the moment. As soon as the Ionity network gets rolled out quickly, hopefully, then it will be a decent car. Build quality is a lot better than a Tesla. We have to admit that. It is a real Audi. You feel that the moment you step into it. One thing I don't really like is the soft touch plastic on the dashboard and on the doors. That feels a little bit cheap, so that would be better if it were leather. And also the car that I sat in, the blue one that you all saw, that one is probably a full spec car, so base price around 82,000 euros. So yeah, it's it's an expensive car. We're all waiting on the 30-40,000 euro car, but just like Tesla, Audi now needs to get through their development costs and recuperate that before they can actually really go to a cheaper car. But yeah, it's got a lot of promise here. First test drives will be available around mid-December, so I'm already networking with a few people to make that happen as soon as possible. So looking forward to it, and hope you guys like this as well. And as always, if you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel using this little link here, and don't forget to click that little bell icon so you don't miss out on any videos. For now, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye bye.